Alright, so we get my many problems with Slaanesh. And how to fix them. No, there's no fixing, buddy. Shout out to Mr. 40K Bones. His link will be in the description down below. And other than that, man, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all did enjoy this video. And let's get right to it. Let's go.
I'm Arthur, and since the corn video hit 1,000 likes, it's time for me to continue on my path to slander as many of people's favorite things in 40k as humanly possible. Tune in next week when I'm shitting on the Ultramarines or something. In that corn video, for those who didn't know, I made the stipulation of if I hit 1,000 likes on the video, I do a video dunking on my problems with Slaanesh, which there are many, and giving my...
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. We did watch the corn video, and he did a really good job on that. Shout out to Mr. 40K Bones. I don't mean to, sit up here and glaze, but at the same time, I'm still gonna show support because he does a nice job with his videos. I can't lie to you. There's no fixing this with Slaanesh. First of all, hopefully y'all, make sure y'all drink some water today. Maybe it's hot where you guys are at. I'm just glad to see you guys again, man. I feel really blessed, man. And other than that, let's get right back to it. And again, there's no fixing Slaanesh. Slaanesh is GG's.
Opinion as to why it's kind of a broken faction right now. And since you all exceeded that number, I think it's time for me to actually uphold my end of the bargain and let you know that Slaanesh is complicated.
Facts.
Of all the Chaos gods, Slaanesh is one of the ones that is considered to be the most significant, as well as just the least significant at the same time.
And also, here's the thing. At first, this screenshot is crazy. I know y'all be going absolute crazy to, to Slaanesh pictures and stuff like that. Diabolical demons. But listen, at first, whenever I first learned about Slaanesh, y'all, I did not know that, Slaanesh, I didn't even know, Slaanesh's gender. That's how you know how complex this thing was. I'm like, I kept calling Slaanesh a girl at first because, Slaanesh sounds like a female name. But then y'all was like, oh, no, bro, it's he. I'm like, oh, so it's a dude. And I start, saying that, oh, Slaanesh, he, Prince, or whatever, Y'all was like, oh, no, it's actually, they. It's actually both. I'm like, oh, wow. So this is definitely, hey, I guess you could say Slaanesh threw me a curveball. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I'll purposely not swing at that curveball. Because this is crazy.
I say all this as it is complicated. We are post-Demon update Slaanesh for 40k and AOS, but pre-40k Chaos Marine update for Slaanesh at time of writing. So there might be an update and Fulgrim will make things super cool, but for now, Slaanesh is just all over the place and doing not much. I have so many problems with Slaanesh, which sucks because I have a Slaaneshi warband that I use from time to time in 40k, which is the Flawless Host, and I love them dearly. I think the idea of Slaanesh is an interesting one, but the problem therein is that Slaanesh as an idea is all over the place, and I find the representation of the lore of Slaanesh to be a bit awkward, a bit off kilter, a bit annoying. See, in theory, Slaanesh should be the most easily nailed god due to the faction's inability to nail a consistent portrayal.
And also, I would think Slaanesh would be the most, not powerful, but I would think that a lot of people would be under Slaanesh's spell, or not spell, but army or something like that. Now, the reason I say that is because, bro, you would think, because bro, I thought Slaanesh was just all sexual things. No, it's not even just that. It's sexual things. If you have any pleasure in video games or whatever, you're going down with Slaanesh. If you like food a lot, you're going down with Slaanesh. If you enjoy the simple things, not even the simple things, but if you enjoy I don't know, hot Cheetos or whatever, bro, you're going down with Slaanesh. If you eat too many Doritos, you're going down with Slaanesh. At the end of the day, it's not even about the sexual things, bro. It's the sexual things, the thing for food or whatever, the over consumption for you playing video games or I said, junk food or whatever. You're going down with Slaanesh. It's not even just about no sexual things. I think that the sexual image that that Slaanesh gives is the only. I think it's only the image for it. I feel if somebody was new to Warhammer like myself, I mean, I don't want to say that I'm new because I pretty much I know some things. I would say that if somebody was new like a new booty, then they would look at Slaanesh as the freaky deaky type of character. You get what I'm saying?
I find that there is a lack of cohesion in the understanding of what Slaanesh should be.
Yeah.
In theory, Slaanesh is the god of excess. If you
Yeah.
want something more than what your allotted amount is, that's when you give credence to Slaanesh. The issue with Slaanesh's portrayal in 40k is that what is excess? They have moved the scale so far in
Bro, look at this creature right here, y'all. Imagine like waking up, bro, and like you dropped your phone on the ground and like you reach down and get your phone on the ground and like this tongue just wraps around your wrist. Bro, what would you do? Not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm calling the authorities, bro. 911, or if I'm in the UK, 999. Like, bro, I'm calling the authorities, bro.
one direction or another, that simply wanting to be good at your job more than anybody else is considered excess at this point, or buying an extra sweet candy bar on the way back is excess.
Yeah, those Mr. Beast chocolate bars, you can't get too many of those, bro, or you're doomed.
When that makes no goddamn sense. See, that's why it should be easy to nail what Slaanesh actually is. It should be excess, not just pleasure in all of its forms, because if it's a god of pleasure in all of its forms, all sapient entities in the universe should be giving some degree of credence to Slaanesh, because pleasure is such a ubiquitous concept with most people, and
pleasure is so diverse. Like, people find pleasure in different things. You know, there's some things that there's people. Sorry, y'all, my phone. But listen, there's people who find pleasure in just sitting at a lake, even though I find pleasure sitting at a lake as well. There's people who find pleasure in knitting or gardening. You know, people find pleasure in so many different things that are not so harsh, not harsh, but they're not so like that's so little. You know, I feel like some people find pleasure in talking to people. Should they be, sent down to Slaanesh like a UPS package just because they they love talking to people, or they love, to interact with people and they get pleasure from, these conversations, or they get pleasure for enjoying like the lake or whatever? Like, should they be sent down to Slaanesh for that, or is it just like an overconsumption of like, or if it's just like a lot of pleasure from like video games and junk food, or what else, like the sexual things? Obviously, that's what I thought at first. I'm thinking, okay, Slaanesh is like the sexual type of like whatever. Turns out she's not. It's not sexual, whatever. It's like the love for like music. Like, if you really love music, then GG's. If you really love cars, if you get pleasure from like looking at cars and stuff like that, GG's. You're going down there with her. Like, it's just, I feel like Slaanesh's window is so big. It's kind of like it's kind of hard to like, really. It's kind of hard to really generalize like, what is Slaanesh's like field of view whenever it comes down to like if you're qualified to like join Slaanesh's like people or not.
Entities that it's impossible to be avoided unless you're like a single cellular entity. Another thing is, at least one of my biggest problems with all the Chaos Gods, is that in theory they should be the strongest enemy in the setting from how they gas them up, but due to the fact that we can't have them winning, they get nerfed a bit. Again, Nurgle diseases are only as deadly as they need to be to progress the plot. So with all the Chaos Gods, they talk a big game about how if you fight Oinkus McSploinkus, the Deacon
Oh my god, yo, I've never seen this man before, but keep him away. Bro, it looks like he plays with scissors, bro. He looks a little dangerous.
Even if you survive, you'll turn into a spoon over the next week. But with Slaanesh, I think it's cranked up so much that the threats can't even be taken seriously. Especially if something like just a demonette shows up or a Slaaneshi cult happens. People tend to talk about in lore how, oh, that's such a dangerous thing, but then like a 5-man group of Space Marines shows up and they just get rocked. What do I mean? I'm using a lot of fancy words here to describe some basic ideas, so let's bust it down sexual style and discuss a few key bullet points here. To kind of go back and discuss my point a little bit more about how they crank up the dangerousness of Slaanesh, let's talk about the Fiend for a second. The Fiend of Slaanesh, or the Fiends of Slaanesh, because there's more than one.
I've seen this diabolical demon. I've seen this before. I forgot what video that I've seen. I've actually seen this thing before. I forgot that the name was the Demon, but I've seen this picture before, y'all. Bro, this is not, this thing, no lie. Take this thing right here, bro. Cage this thing up, and no lie, every time this thing even gets close to the cage, zap it. I know that sounds evil. We got to keep this thing hidden away. This looks too dangerous. This looks like, bro, it'll use like its tongue to like unlock the cage that it's in. We can't, no lie. We can't have this. No.
One is considered one of the most dangerous tools in Slaanesh's toolkit. They reek of a soporific musk.
Picture,
A soporific basically being something that dulls the senses and numbs you to pain. It makes you insensate. You will be slower to react. It's why they're one of the more dangerous. But in lore, even if you kill a fiend or the one that you're dealing with, you will be permanently corrupted by Slaanesh and just only get worse if you breathe in the musk. And it says it's crazy powerful, as none can resist the allure of the musk. And I'm like, that's so dumb. Okay, if it takes just one to corrupt a whole bunch of people because they just need to breathe near it, why don't they just deploy these en masse, or even just get gas globes containing this? You'd probably win pretty easily if you just dropped a little bit of it and then like have some kind of genetic memory bullshit where an individual infected by the weird titty horse gas will know how to make the gas from scratch. Nope. And then you'd win pretty.
But that's too easy though, because if that's the case, right? And Mr. 40K Bones, that's not a bad idea. But if that's the case, bro, we can do that with we can legit come up with like these super easy basic solutions for every single video game, series, movie, TV shows. I'm pretty sure there's people who use their free time to come up with different solutions, stuff like that, on how this movie should have ended or how this video game should have played out in like the simplest way. And then when you read it, you're like, oh wait, that actually does make sense. At the end of the day, it's how GW wrote it, if that makes sense. I mean, that's all I gotta say about that. At the end of the day, yes, what he's saying is true, but at the end, I just feel like that's how they wrote it. I mean, it's so easy for us to be like, well, they should have created the mask, so we can stop the. I don't think they're gonna do that. Especially, I feel like they want to make it as and this they're talking about like Slaanesh's world or whatever. I feel like they really just want to make it as not as harsh, but like they want to make it as captivating as it is. Like, oh, it's this musk, as soon as you breathe it in, as soon as you smell it, it numbs you and stuff like that. I mean, that's the way they want to make it, and they're gonna make it that way
easily, right? But no, they don't do that. Same with the demonettes. Allegedly, no mortal can resist their allure. Okay, not my thing, but go off, I guess. But in demon warfare, they just die in the thousands against anything that isn't just a normal human, and even normal humans can sometimes resist them. There's so much smack talk about how Slaanesh is the greatest, none can resist them, but there are so many examples of people resisting them in the lore that it causes them to come off as weak, even if in the lore they say that they're super, super strong and dangerous guys.
Why did you zoom in on her like that? Listen, now here's the thing. Whenever these Space Marines and these Astartes come through and they give these guys the 5-knuckle shuffle, bro, no John Cena. Here's the thing. I learned that Space Marines and like Astartes or whatever, I learned that they are like mentally tough, really mentally tough, to the point to where they're not gonna fall. Like, us humans, bro, no, bro. We're gonna fall to sin every time. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make this like a real life situation, but we're gonna fall to sin, especially when it comes down to, sexual sin. Not gonna lie to you, bro, unless we turn around, bro, and run like Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, bro, if we look for too much, if we're actively, just looking at it or whatever, if we're indulging into it, we're failing every single time, brother. Like, us humans, we're going out bad. But these Astartes and these Space Marines, whatever, bro, they are legit mentally, like, they're kind of like, it's not hypnotized, but like, they're kind of like their mindset to it is like, they're not falling for like no chaos or whatever. Not saying that like, that no Astartes or no Space Marine has fallen before, because I'm pretty sure there has to be like one or two. At the end of the day, bro, like, they are mentally trained for situations like this. Just in case of like if a Slaanesh demon just appeared and started twerking or whatever, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be like, man, you know what? I seen better. Start slicing up like peaches, like those little cute peaches. I'm pretty sure like they've trained for that situation. You get what I'm saying? Now me and you, yes, you don't start shaking your head. Oh no, I would never. You would. Okay, you trying to shake your head? Oh, I would never. As a matter of fact, I'm as stoic. No, you're not stoic, but rather you're human, just like me. if Slaanesh start throwing it back or whatever, bro, not gonna lie to you, bro, we're indulging.
Hell, it's stated that the only thing that could ever corrupt a Grey Knight who was traveling all the circles of Slaanesh's realm was meeting Slaanesh themselves, which is okay, that I get it. Grey Knights are kind of powerful, particularly
They are.
immune to corruption, and also very psychic, but
Yeah,
that's a mortal, man. Even if it's Kaldor Drago, like, they are still just a 2-wound model on the table and a 5-wound at most. In theory, you shouldn't be able to send a 5-man squad of Grey Knights into the warp and just call it a day, and they'll probably just carve out a path at some.
I mean, but like, if the Emperor sends these people on like these insane missions or whatever, like, aren't they really powerful? Even though they're like, you know, mortal or whatever. Like, doesn't the Emperor call? I'm pretty sure it's the Emperor. Doesn't the Emperor call up the Grey Knights to, like, you know, go to like these hard like places or whatever and fulfill a mission or whatever? Or is it somebody else? I don't know. Y'all let me know.
Point, right? Which is my biggest problem. It's kind of the reason why I also don't like the Grey Knights, where they're portrayed as being so unstoppably powerful that you look at them and go, how the hell have you not won the setting? But then in some books, you just have like Typhus going around and squishing their heads with his hand. It's just insane to think about that they can be corralled that well. But back to Slaanesh, I'm getting lost in the weeds here. I know there are a bunch of schools of thoughts around this specific idea, where the codexes would be the main source of lore, and the books are their own continuity, and they should be kept separate, where one influences the other, but not exactly are in the same universe. Or, if you go by GW's Twitter, everything is canon, but not everything is true. I keep my opinions to myself on this, but like, the divide
Wait, they said that everything was canon? Really?
between Slaanesh and these two categories of codex and lore is so unseemly. As I mentioned in the last video, I recently read a few of the Gotrek and Felix books, and there is a plot line or two about Slaaneshi cults. Like in one case, there was a noble son who owned a lot of property, but he was kind of a dick, and also the head of a small cult of Slaaneshi worshippers. He was even smoking that warpstone pack to get a better high off his weird roots. That's actually not a joke. He was actually cutting his fantasy weed with warpstone, which I thought was really funny.
Smoking that dut pack. He was smoking that mythical dut pack, y'all. Wow. Why didn't I think they wouldn't have the dut pack down there, bro? He was smoking that dut pack, y'all. Wow, that's insane.
But he was smoking that, but he ended up getting outed and killed off screen in the book when Gotrek and Felix ran into an individual that he was coercing into illicit behaviors. They ratted him out and he ended up getting executed off screen, which that sounds a little too easily dealt with. I get it. Gotrek is really
I mean, but what you want him to do? Listen, he was a freaky frog. Listen, brother was a freaky frog. He was probably attending those parties. Yeah, bro. Yeah, those after party. He was attending those parties in one of those rooms. He was a freaky frog. I mean, what did you? Hey, he got gone. Yo, Mr. 40K Bones, what you want him to get? You want him to get dealt with like the hard way, bro? He's out of here, gone. GG's. Maybe he wanted, like, you know, I mean, because he did say that, like, that he basically got taken out off screen, or basically like on the book or in the book, right? If that's the case, not gonna lie to you, bro, like, I feel like that's like but like, Mr. 40K Bones, what do you want to happen? Like, do you want this dude to, like, just get shot by like 20 people on like some Godfather-ish? Like, what do you want him to happen?
really good at the murder thing, but also how easily uprooted are these kinds of things if you deal with it off screen? Though I guess the fantasy world, there isn't as much of a difficulty finding.
No, bro. Get this radical rat out of here, bro. Look at him. GG's. Yo, if you ever see a rat like this in your house, bro, GG's.
These kinds of things, as it's more of a town-to-town issue rather than a planet-to-planet like it is in 40k. I'm getting further lost in the weeds again. But in the 40k setting specifically, Slaanesh is such an important god because their birth led to the Eye of Terror and the bleeding of chaos into the mortal realm of 40k. Real space of.
Yo, imagine being that much of a devious dweeb to the point to where, bro, your birth just your birth literally caused so much damage. They're calling it the Eye of Terror.
40K. Okay, listen. These terms.
Like, bro, like, it's called the Eye of Terror. And just know that that happened because of you in your birth. Do you know how much of a medical menace you are, bro?
Read together a lot.
No,
I'm going to
like,
misspeak
genuinely.
as I read a lot of AOS lore once upon a time, but no one wanted to hear about it, so I can't make AOS videos, so now I just say AOS things when I'm talking about 40K things.
Oh, close the schools. Mr. 40K Bones, you want to talk? Mr. 40K Bones, you want to talk? You know you can talk to us, right? Like, genuinely. Like, if you really need to talk to us, you can. Cause I don't want to be that guy, but it sounds like you're about to explode. It sounds like you're about to go off. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. For real, bro. If you need to talk, yo, let us know. Because I'm gonna be honest. You said like 30 words in what 3 seconds. You know somebody hot, bro. You know somebody is absolutely just fuming, bro. Like we're in the UK when they start speaking really fast and you can hear every single word they're saying. And like in 3 seconds, it's not even on like no Eminem-ish. No, like they're genuinely like tweaking out. You know somebody is sour. Like they're talking so fast, like they're so mad that like you can hear every single word and they're just going crazy. No stutter, no nothing. That's how you really know somebody's fuming. You know, Mr. 40K Bones. Let us know if you want to talk or something like that, man. I understand, bro.
Leave me alone. I will cry if you make fun of me. But Slaanesh is the reason chaos broke into real space in 40K, and thus is the reason for all the Imperium's issues at current date. Though this also means we can trace most of our woes back to the Eldar, which gives me a bit of peace knowing how we murder them almost on a daily basis. Regardless, in the modern setting, there is just nothing. Slaanesh has minor incursions, and if you cut out Fulgrim and all his doings, there isn't as much going on for them as possible. Aside from some small warbands here and there, I know there is in Ilara's Vale a really fun warband known as the Pure, but there isn't much going on outside of the Emperor's Children and Fulgrim, and even then, the Emperor's Children and Fulgrim aren't doing too much. I know that that's going to escalate more as the update and range refresh for that as a faction comes out, but in general, I think that Slaanesh is not really doing anything right now of note. I could be wrong, because we all have blind spots when it comes to 40K, especially as a lore content creator, you're going to miss some things, so I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong.
Oh, bro, as somebody, bro, who like... Bro, as a guy, bro, who reacts to Warhammer and gaming trailers, I try not to miss a lot. But like whenever I'm like, okay, let's say for example, like whenever I'm taking in a lot of whenever I'm taking in like a lot of information, that's when I miss some things. I feel like my brain is like a filter. I feel like they're like, well, you need this. Nah, you don't really need that. And I feel like my brain just turns on and off whenever I'm learning about something. But whenever I'm just like simply just reacting to like a gaming trailer or whatever, or even like whenever I'm reacting to like West Hammer's videos, it depends on what it is, but like his scary videos or whatever about like the most haunting Warhammer or whatever, those videos are pretty relaxing to make because you're just reacting to him explain, you know, who this devilish menacing monster is.
So if you guys know of anything that Slaanesh has been doing recently that's been important, vaguely important, feel free to comment down below, and I'll even pin it if it's interesting. But it can't be just like, oh, they took this one kind of important planet. But as it is now, Slaanesh is just the most disappointing of all the Chaos Gods. They do nothing in the setting of imports without Fulgrim. I guess Fabius Bile counts, but well, not really, and I just need more. Like, Slaanesh will fight to the death for every Eldar soul, so if a Chaos God were to get a hold of them that wasn't them, there would be an all-out war, but then for some reason, Isha is under the control of Nurgle. Yes, I know Nurgle won the fight and the war would be impossible to wage, but still, I feel like there should be more plot between Slaanesh trying to get that back, because, you know, Isha's kind of important. I don't know. Am I just an old man yelling at clouds? Let me know. I gotta say, Slaanesh is not the lowest pick of the gods for me. By any stretch, actually.
I agree.
The gulf of space between the third place spot, which is where Slaanesh is, and the...
I think if I was to rank them like this video is long. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just yapping along. But if I was to rank the Chaos Gods, y'all, no lie, I think I got me personally, y'all, and this is just me. I got Slaanesh as number one. I got Korn as like number two. I got Nurgle as number three, and I got Tzeentch as number four. Tzeentch is not really interesting to me, not gonna lie to you. But I got Slaanesh as number one, y'all. I thought that maybe it's just how how they hype Slaanesh up, but I thought Slaanesh was just like the most diabolical freak. I mean, they are, but I thought that that she would have like the most pool, or they would have like the most pool, if that makes sense.
Fourth place, last place slot, excluding Malice, is the breadth of a country. First place is obviously going to be Nurgle for me. I love Nurgle. I've been playing Death Guard since they got their range refresh. Second place is Khorne. Third place is Slaanesh, though Slaanesh and Khorne can sometimes swap places depending on my mood. And last place is always going to be Tzeentch, because I actually do not like Tzeentch. I like Slaanesh, and I love certain elements of Slaaneshi factions, but there's almost nothing I like about Tzeentch. And if you've heard my screaming rant about Magnus the Red on anything I've been on.
Oh yeah, Magnus is a part of. Okay, I mean that's probably like what I only know about him, but other than that, that's it.
You know. Before I end off, I just want to contribute something. Making videos about reductive ideas like I dislike this and adding nothing else to the conversation is something I kind of want to steer away from going forward, as I don't like the feel of it after the video is done. So I want to add at least a few ideas as to how I think Slaanesh could be better. I am not a writer. I'm barely even good at doing
You know, here's the thing though, and I think this is the end of the video. So I'm gonna just say this, Mr. 40K Bones. At the end of the day, it's your opinion, and I understand you don't want to be that guy that just complains about everything because nobody likes that. But at the end of the day, it is your video, bro. And you know what, bro? There's gonna be a lot of people who agree with what you're gonna say, and yes, there's gonna be some people who don't agree. But at the end of the day, bro, it's how you feel about this certain character, whatever. And that's, you talk about it. I could say the same thing about how I don't like, this is a lie, by the way, but I can say, oh, I don't like Mario. I love Mario, by the way. But let's just say, for example, I made a video saying that, oh, Mario sucks and this is why, da-da-da-da, right? A lot of people are going to click that video because, like, wait a minute, like, Mario's probably, like, I'll probably say Mario is probably probably the most loved video game character of all time. At the end of the day, a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me, but if that's my genuine, opinion about it, then that's my genuine opinion about it. This is why I don't really, let's say, for example, somebody said that like Kratos is weak or something like that. If somebody make a video like that, first of all, they're getting jumped immediately. But in all seriousness, if somebody made a video saying that, Kratos suck or whatever, and I click on the video and, they're like, oh, Kratos is this, he's weak, he's trash, da 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 da. I may not agree with it, but at the same time, I respect that he has an opinion. Now, this is the internet where you're not allowed to have an opinion. You get what I'm saying? On the internet, if you have a different opinion, than like somebody else or whatever, bro, all of a sudden you're this, you're that, you're dumb, you're stupid, da 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 da. On the internet, you can't have a different opinion. You have to agree with anybody and everybody. That's like the rule of the internet. But I think it's slightly changing now. I think people are accepting that people have different, opinions and stuff like that. So I think as a society, I think we're kind of growing. But other than that, bro, this is the internet where they even do this in real life. In real life, if you don't go where everybody else is going, you're looked at as weird or whatever. Da 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 da. At the end of the day, bro, what I'm trying to say is, bro, if this is your own opinion, this is your opinion. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just come here just to try to entertain you guys or whatever with Warhammer, with Warhammer reactions or video game reactions. Evidently, I have my favorite character. I have my favorite Warhammer character. I have my favorite Warhammer Chaos God or whatever. Yes, I have my own favorite things, but I'm gonna be honest with you. If you don't like my favorite character, I don't care. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not gonna sit up here and try to like be like, oh, why don't you like my character though? Like, can you give some reason why you don't like Vulcan? Like, who cares? I don't care that you don't like Vulcan. I'm sorry. If that affects y'all, if y'all look at that as me being inconsiderate, whatever, my bad. But at the same time, bro, it's Warhammer, bro. It's not a thing. It's not a life or death situation. We all have our own favorite things. So, Mr. 40K Bones, I don't see the matter with these videos. Like you said, you feel bad about them at the end of the day. So maybe you want to switch them up, and if you do, or if he already did, you know, then that's good for him. You know, he's following his heart, you know, because there's some people, man, who just, you know, who just make content and, you know, they don't want to really admit how they feel, you know, and I'm just glad that you know how you feel and you know, can express that, you know. I have been yapping for a long time, man. Comment down below what do you guys think about this video, and I'm gonna see y'all later for next time. Make sure you guys like the videos and subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free here on YouTube, and also I'm live on Twitch. Make sure you guys come through, give your boy a follow, and bye everyone.